and welcome to season 3, episode 1 of My Kids Think I'm Cool, but podcast. I know on season 2, I kind of just stopped podcasting after episode 7, and I do want to apologize for that because that was not cool and that was not fair for me just to stop. And there was also a reason behind that. So it's not like I lost passion for podcasting or I just stopped because I just didn't feel like podcasting. I actually got really busy. And the reasoning behind that is because last year I got a really cool job opportunity in the wind industry, and I really wanted to get into the wind industry, but I never knew how because my background was in technology and software and computer, and not within wind industry. So I was actually really surprised when I saw that job posting, and I really just put in my CV to see where it's at. So yeah, that's why I actually went kind of missing and stopped podcasting is because I got the job at Vestas, and I'm really happy to be in the wind industry, especially on what we're doing for Vestas. We're really starting a whole new way of in the wind industry because it's in technology, it's in e-commerce, it's in software where my background actually falls perfectly in. So I was actually really happy that I got the opportunity and they hired me for to work at Vestas to start their marketplace in renewable energy. So that was really a great opportunity, and I'm so happy that I was able to show my experience and my expertise in that, and that's why I actually went missing. And I really apologize that I just stopped podcasting, and it's not that I didn't want to do it. It was just that I got really busy, especially being in a new industry, new colleagues, new everything. I really needed to settle down, get to know everything, get to know the industry, really get back into sales, marketing, business development because I haven't done that for 2 years. So I had to really get back into that mindset of selling a product, having people believe in the product. It took me some time to get my footing, but now I feel comfortable where now if I have to do a presentation or do something for a customer, I don't even have to think twice. It just comes naturally, and this is why I actually got back into podcasting because now I have my footing. I know my way around my job. I have really cool colleagues, so I know my way around. So now I can actually get back into podcasting. And the crazy thing is, I never thought I would be in the wind industry. I remember when I would be in Aarhus, I would drive by the Vestas headquarters, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be so cool to work there because there's this huge, yeah, this it's just a huge office." And I just thought it was always cool to work there. And another funny thing is, my husband actually works for Siemens Gamesa, which is a competitor. So it's really funny that we're both like Team Vestas, Team Siemens, and it's a really yeah, it's a really exciting times, and I'm really happy to have this opportunity to work for Vestas. And yeah, that's the reason why I went missing a little bit, but I'm back. And another reason actually why I went missing is I am back in Danish school again. Yes, back in Danish school. It's been 9 years and I still haven't completed it. um and if you, the listeners out there, are still struggling to go to Danish class or go to Danish school, don't worry because I've been in and out of school for the last 9 years and I still have not completed it. So if you're just living in Denmark for 4 years or 3 years and you haven't completed Danish, don't worry. There's probably more people out there that has not completed Danish and been living in Denmark for a longer period of time. So don't don't give yourself a hard time because you're not fluent in Danish or you haven't completed school, because I'm right there with you. I haven't completed it, and the only reason why I am completing it right now is because I need it for my permanent residency. And in order to get my permanent residency in Denmark or possibly citizenship, I need to pass Danish class or Danish school, and I'm finally in Danish 5. It's my last Danish until I take the big test this May. So I plan to take that big test, hopefully pass it. It's been difficult to maintain home life, maintain a full-time job and go to Danish school. It's really been difficult to have a full-time job, driving to Aarhus, going to be in the office, full days of meeting, and then right after, like going to Danish school. It's dreadful. And this is why a lot of people quit or stop going to Danish school, because when you have a full-time job, it you're the thing that you want to do after your full-time job is not go to sit in the class and learn another language. So whoever passed, whoever's finished Danish school, I give you a high five, because that's so amazing. And if you're contemplating on going back or quitting Danish school, just keep going, because you don't want to be like me and be in a Danish school after 9 years living here, and then everyone in your class has only been living there 6 months, and they surpass your Danish, and then they're questioning why, yeah, why you haven't finished your Danish school, and why you haven't your Danish is still shit. So yeah, it's really funny. So yeah, I am back in Danish school. Jeg taler dansk nu. Jeg kan forstå dansk. And if you don't live in Denmark, and you're from another company, I just said I just speak Danish and I can understand Danish. So yeah, it's been going well. I'm almost done, and I'm super super excited to be finished, because this will give me more time to do something else, because right now my focus is work, my family, work, and then Danish. And as soon as I get Danish done, it'll just give me more time to do something else, something I love now, like podcasting. So yeah, that's another thing I've been up to. My kids have started school, actually, my daughter, and it's really nice that she is in school, but at the same time, I can't pull her out like I usually do. 1 to 2 months we'll go to the US, no problem. She's in actual school now, and I can't do that anymore. So that's the only thing that it really makes me sad, is because I can't just, for example, now in January or February, I can't just go like, yeah, let's just go to California and take a month off and then come back when it's spring in Denmark. Yeah, that doesn't work anymore. And so that's the only thing that it kills me, that I actually have to now take my holidays during normal holidays when kids are actually out of school. And if you are a parent and listening to this, you know how expensive those tickets are, especially on week 7, summer holiday, Christmas. That's the ticket skyrockets. So it's really heartbreaking and exciting at the same time. So exciting, my daughter has started school, but heartbreaking that I actually have to take, me and my family actually have to take holiday at normal holiday period. So if your kids haven't started school yet, live it up. Travel, go home, do everything, because after they start school, you have to have an explanation. Like I can't take my daughter out more than 2 days and have I really need to have a school meeting explanation on why she's gonna be gone for a week or 2 weeks. So yeah, enjoy your kids not being in school right now, because you could take random holidays that's outside, the holiday period, which is much cheaper. And also, if you're traveling home to visit family, it's much cheaper to travel outside of the holiday weeks that they have here in Denmark. Oh, another development is I speak Danish now to my kids' friends and also the teacher. So I'm really focused, since I'm back in Danish school. I've been really, really focused on speaking Danish. I've hired a Danish tutor also to help me, and I've held some meetings in Danish also. I've tried as much as I can, corporate wise at work, because I do work with a lot of Danes, to hold meetings in Danish when I can. And of course, I'll throw a English word here and there. So my language is basically Danglish. A lot of Danglish going on right now. But I'm really committed this year to learn more Danish and understand more Danish. And my daughter is actually pretty embarrassed when I speak Danish, because her Danish is amazing. And when I try to speak Danish to her friends, she usually stops me and go like, mom, let me help you here. And then she'll start speaking Danish. And it's actually really funny, because I'm like, oh, I was like, it's great that she's helping me, but kind of like sad that I'm like, my daughter speaks way better Danish than me. And so that's why I actually am committed to speaking more Danish and speaking more fluent, and I know I'll never be fluent, but at least try to understand and speak to her friends in the Danish language. And I know by third grade, because they learn English here so early, that they're gonna know English anyways, so they'll prefer to speak English with me. But I try to speak Danish to the parents. I try to speak Danish to the teachers, and then I'll always switch to English if I have a hard time speaking Danish. So yeah, that's a lot of things going on, and especially with this season. It's like I have so much going on with this season, and if you haven't heard my trailer, I am splitting the two season or the season three up to two parts because I've noticed last year when I did season two that I did a lot of the interview, and we can just keep talking. And this is a parenting podcast about internationals raising kids abroad, but also a podcast where parents thrive or change their way of living or adapt to a new culture, because it takes something to move to a different country. So I felt like I've been smushing everything within 1 hour. So I'm going to do a part one and a part two. So part one is about their life in in Denmark, and also their parenting style. Sorry about that. Their parenting style and everything. But also part two will be their career change, what they did. They started a business, how they really adapted to the culture. So part one is about lifestyle, parenting, everything about living in Denmark, and then part two is about just how they're surviving, like what they did to adapt, what they did um to start a business. So everything about that. So that's why I split it in two parts, and I'm really excited to do it that way because when I do it in 1 hour, I feel like there's so much more to give to the audience, to the listeners, that I'm trying to squeeze in 1 hour. So season three is about just two parts and just getting into my guesses lives personally and also business wise, because these guests are so amazing, because they really really changed their lives from what they grew up in or what they've known, or changed careers to something brand new here in Denmark. So it's just worth sharing to the audience, and especially if you just moved to Denmark, or if you moved abroad, this will give you inspiration, or just experience. It's like knowing that what you're going through is normal, and that you will find your way in Denmark, or if you're living in a different country, not just in Denmark, but you'll just find your way living and adapting to a different way of life. So yeah, so that's what season three is about. um, and there's gonna be some amazing guests on there, speaking about their life and everything. So I'm really excited to release that. I will do season three. Each month I will be releasing one guest. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it in a way where I can maintain keep uploading podcasts, but at the same time not drain myself, because I think that's what happened is I drain myself because I just do podcast, and then I drain myself. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to enjoy what I'm doing, because I do have a full plate, but also release these podcasts. And it's really nice when I hear from listeners, because sometimes I just think I think I'm just speaking to myself, but I do get a message, I do get an email, I do get a Instagram message, and it's so nice that people actually reach out to me saying that they're so happy that I'm podcasting again, and it warms my heart, because I know there's people out there listening, and it just makes me happy. And if there's people out there listening, I am extremely happy, and thank you for listening to My Kids Think I'm Cool But podcast, because you as the audience is really what makes me do these podcasts. And I love doing it, and knowing that there's someone in the other side actually listening makes a big difference to me producing these, releasing these, and actually recording them, because I'm just in my office in my house talking to myself. If my family actually hears me, I sound like I'm talking to myself. So thank you so much for listening to my podcast. And another thing that I'm doing a little bit different with this podcast is I'm starting to do the video podcast. So it will be uploaded on YouTube as much as I can. I did record all my podcasts via video. So I will be getting some videos up of older podcasts that's archived and to be able to share to the public. The only thing that I don't like about doing the video podcast is because with podcasts, I don't have to get ready. I could basically be in pajamas and do it. But with video podcasts, I actually have to put makeup on, or yeah, just look somewhat camera ready. And that's the only thing that's really stopping me from doing the YouTube videos um about my podcast. But I will start doing that, and I could care less that I'm not maybe I just got off work and I put the kids to sleep and I'll do a quick podcast, and I'm not as dressed up, but it's okay. It's for the listeners, and also being able to get people to listen to this podcast. Another thing is I'm starting a petroleum. So I've never really started the petroleum, but on the petroleum, I will be sharing because I'll be recording all the podcast all at once without the edits. So it's just raw video of me getting ready for a podcast, basically talking to myself, explaining what I do and everything, and also recording my guests and I speaking and preparing for these podcasts, because some of the guests I'm speaking to, like, I just met. Even though we sound like we've talked forever when I do the recording, I I like to get to know them before we start recording, and it just works out so well that we have so much in common, especially living abroad. We just have so much in common and so much to talk about. So I'll be recording that pre film or pre record, and so that's what I'm gonna put on the petroleum. And also you could subscribe to it. I'm trying to get a new mic, so that's what I'm actually trying to fundraise, is for a new mic, because if you're listening on the podcast and you don't really see the video I'm doing, you'll see there's this big ball in front of me because I'm trying to block the air from when I'm speaking on the mic. But if you're watching on YouTube or on my petroleum site, you could actually, it's really funny, like it's a ball in front of me. So I want to get a Shure mic, which is actually really, it's pretty expensive, but it's totally worth it for the audio, because after before doing podcasts, I didn't realize how audio takes a big role. If you have really bad audio or high pitch, or I sound like I'm in a tin can, not many people listen to my podcast, or in general a podcast or audio. Like it's really annoying. So I really am committed to have good audio, and that's why I'm actually fundraising, and that's why I have that petroleum site, is to get a new mic, because that's what I want, is a new mic, instead of talking into this ball, like kind of makeshift uh mic, because I have a mic, but you could hear me breathing on it, so it's really weird. So I put a ball on top of this mic, so it blocks me from breathing, but I basically have to shove my face right into the mic. Yeah, it sounds really weird when you're probably listening to me talk about this, but when you see it on video, you could actually see the big ball. So go on YouTube and you can actually see me talking into a ball. So yeah, and this season, I kind of lost track. Sorry about that, because I'm talking about the ball in front of me. So this season, just be prepared to have different guests that is just going to inspire you to either start a business, write a book. Um, if you're having a hard time raising kids, know that there's someone else that is actually experiencing the same thing that you are. So I'm just trying to make everything for season 3 more relatable, more that can give more benefits to internationals living abroad, and just give more to the listeners and the audience. And it's sometimes it's really hard to adapt in a new country, but just know that you're not alone, and there's a lot of internationals out there And also in a Facebook group, there's a lot of support going on there. If you're feeling alone, you could always find a Facebook group to help you, because we support each other and we are able to help another, struggling international, trying to live in Denmark or abroad. So yeah, get ready for season 3 of My Kids Think I'm Cool, but podcast. And I'm looking forward to sharing all the podcasts with you guys via social media, via TikTok, via YouTube, and then all my podcast channels, and then my website, of course. So, again, thank you so much for listening, coming back, and listening to my podcast and watching either my YouTube video, and just experiencing and supporting a small podcast host like myself. And again, thank you all. And I will, yeah, thank you all. And I hope you will listen to episode 2 of My Kids Think I'm Cool but podcast season 3. So don't forget to follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I actually have LinkedIn, and all social media channels I actually have. So don't forget to follow me on there. If you have any questions, you can also email me too. So I am in all channels of communication, and I'd love to hear from you. I love hearing that people are actually listening to me. So you probably make my day. So thank you for listening, and see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.